Are you in a summer slump? I'm going to show you what's selling on Etsy right now. Plus, I'm going to show you the one thing I did to my top 2 viewed listings that got them sold within days. And I'm going to share what I do on my Etsy shop that brought in 14 sales last month. And you can do it too. Let's get started. Hi, this is Carrie with Sunshine Vintage Vibes. I am a vintage home decor reseller with my main shop on Etsy. And today we're going to talk about sales in June. So I'm going to share all of my sales for June on my Etsy shop, as well as my sales on Facebook Marketplace. And I had one sale on eBay. Yay! And then I'm going to share what I did to these 2 top viewed listings. So last week I did a video on cross listing and I shared how you can find your top viewed or favorite items. And if you want to take those and cross list them, if you're picking and choosing. And after the video, I thought, why are those items not selling? So I got onto those listings. I changed one thing on both of them and they sold within days. And then I'm going to share marketing tips. So 2 things that I do in my Etsy shop brought in 14 sales, and you can do them too. So we're going to discuss all things marketing, and then at the end, I'm going to share my top 2 sales. So let's get started. I have my notes in front of me on my laptop, but I'm going to put it up here so you can see what I am looking at. Last month, the month of June, I had 81 sales. I was so happy because I want to say like 3/4 of the way through, I was at like 65. I'm like, I'm not going to make that 80 mark, but I made the 80 mark and I even sold 81. So last month I had a great month at 85. And then in April, 73 and March, 74. So 80 is my number. So we're going to see if I can make that because July and August are notoriously slow months. So that is by volume. Now here are my sales. So this is profit. That means I took out all of the Etsy fees, all shipping fees, marketing fees, because I am charged a marketing fee through Etsy, and cost of goods sold. I use Excel. I keep very good records of my cost of goods sold. So this is a very accurate number. So for the month of June, I profited $2,291. Now, quite down from May, considering I had almost the same amount of sales. And most of that is attributed to some of the items I'm trying to clear out before this big selling season, trying to kind of get rid of them. So I had a lot of like $10, $12 items that I sold, which I am happy about because I make room for the bigger ticketed, higher profit items. So again, $2,291 for the month of June. In May, $2,675. April 25.76, and then March 22.84. So not bad. You know, in December I hit 3,000 profit. So my goal starting September is to hit that 3,000. I'm okay in that $2,500 range through the summer, but come September, I want that number 3,000 for September, October, November, December, and even January. So we'll see if we can make it. Now I'm gonna show you my sales per platform. So I have been adding some listings to Facebook Marketplace, and the listings I've been adding is everything under $20. On my last video, the cross listing video, I talked about how I'm kind of, you know, sort of stepping in and really doubling down on Facebook Marketplace. And I've been listing all of my items that are under $20 and they've been selling. Let's take a look at the sales by platform. So I had 72 sales on Etsy. I had 8 on Facebook Marketplace. I was so excited about that. And then I had 1 on eBay. Now I also cross list on Poshmark, and if let's say about 10 items on Depop. I don't have anything on Mercari. Then here is the sales by number. So 3,000, this is sales, not profit, just sales. $3,659 on Etsy. On Facebook was $180, and then on eBay was $34. I sold a piece of art on eBay. So that is my sales per platform. Again, Etsy, Facebook Marketplace, and eBay. And I use, last week I talked about this at length. If you want to know about cross listing, check that out. I really go into detail. But Flip, FLYP, has a free 100 days free to cross list. That is what I used because I wanted to try it out and see if I liked it. And now I pay $9 a month to cross list. So here is a link right here if you want to check it out. This video is not sponsored by Flip. That's how much I like it. I just think it's a really good program for anybody who wants to even see if they want to start cross listing. So check that link out and let's move on to my top sellers by category for the month of June. So art. Art was my top selling category. 12 pieces of art sold last month. Picking up original art is super fun. I think the thing I love about it the most is researching it. When there is an artist and there is some history behind it. My second category, and when I say wood, that's like stuff that you can use in the kitchen. You'll see, plates, bowls, cake plates, anything wood kind of in the kitchen. Copper, and then glass. Crazy, glass has kind of made a comeback. The last 2 months, glass has made my top 5, I think, or it's been in the top for sure. And then wall decor with 6 items. And wall decor is, you'll see, peg racks, shelves, anything that goes on the wall that's not art. Now, normally I would screenshot all my sales and put them up here, but I did something different this time. I got into Canva and I created these for you. I thought it would be easier for you to see a whole view of what sold. So this is art. These are all the pieces of art. I sold 12 pieces, very exciting. So they really range. They go from, this really cool brass piece that I picked up from Nashville to some designer pieces, some signed items, but art was my top seller. I love picking up art. It's one of my favorite things to pick up. The second category with 9 items was wood. So these are all the wood items. When I talk about wood kitchen, this is what I'm talking about. We're talking about plates and bowls. That really cool elephant tray, I actually picked it up at Habitat. And then I put Florentine in there as well because it is wood. And I sell Florentine pretty consistently. Now, I probably only ever maybe have 1 or 2 pieces at a time in my shop just because it's hard to find, but the trays sell pretty consistently. I have a Florentine box in my shop that hasn't sold yet, but it's got a lot of views, and I have a music box I still have not repaired. Shh, don't tell anybody, but I'm still trying to get that thing repaired. I will definitely get it up before the holidays. And now we're into copper. Copper is one of my absolute favorite things to pick up. I don't know why. I just enjoy it. I really like it and it sells. So that makes it even better. So I know a lot of people like brass. I do pick up brass. I've been slowing down on brass. But copper, I will always pick up. If it's a good price, or even if it's not even that good of a price, but I know I can resell it, I will pick it up. Now, I didn't have a lot of big ticket items this past month, but like that planter, that little, like at the very top left, that sold quick, like within a week. But then like the teapot in the middle, that took some time. If you ever see anything on that of mine on that silver, sometimes I haven't switched it over yet. That is that silver surface was the old way I used to photograph. So I just haven't gotten to some of them to redo the pictures. I've been trying to do that, to redo the photos. But that I probably wouldn't pick up unless it was a really good price. So that is all my copper. Now we're into glass. I can't believe glass keeps making the list. So glass sells. Now I pick up tumblers. I like tumblers. I like the look. Like I have several in my shop. One I've had for quite some time, and I'm almost to a point, if it does not sell by the end, like after holidays, I'm going to keep it because I just love it too much. So maybe it wasn't meant to sell, but lots of fun glass sold. And that top left, the 2 little vases are Murano glass. And I found those, brace yourself, I found those in a bag at Savers with other stuff. How they were not chipped, I can't believe it. When I'll go through the bags and I saw the Murano sticker and I was like, are those Murano? And I checked it, and can you believe it? Murano glass in the bags at Savers. I feel like I rescued them because they really are beautiful, and I was excited that they sell. So glass consistently sells. Now, I did kind of get like the animal print bowl and those smoke glasses. I kind of just discounted them, wanting to kind of get rid of them. I've had that animal bowl for a very long time, and the smoke glasses, I think I bought those in Utah, so I've had those for a while. Time to get rid of it. You know, I like to refresh my inventory. Don't like to have the same stuff, and I don't think my buyers do too. Now that when you start getting going, and I don't know if you recognize this, but you get repeat buyers and they want new stuff. They've already seen your old stuff. So you just kind of like a booth. Those who have booths gotta always refresh. You gotta reset, you gotta refresh. And then here is wall decor. And this is what I mean by wall decor: spice rack, a peg rack. If you see vintage peg racks, don't hesitate, just buy it. I promise you, it will sell. This one I think was $14, and I bought it because I knew it would sell, and it did. I think it sold within days of listing it. I love the water bag. That water bags, that's the third one now I've sold. If I ever find those, I will definitely buy that. The brass thermometer was something new. If I ever see that, I had a lot of views on that, and it did sell. And then now I'm talking about tabletop and office. I like to pick up office decor. I don't know. I like things organized. I think that's why I pick it up, and it's been kind of a consistent seller. Same with tabletop. And what I mean by tabletop is any sort of like riser, like this bamboo shelf was really cool. I picked that up at the Long Beach swap meet, and any desk decor and any sort of thing that can go in the office or the desk consistently sell. So I had quite a bit of sales on those. The item in the middle for $78. Now I put that as tabletop, but it's, you know, it's like a bench. It could easily be on the floor as a bench. It has 2 levels. Now the crazy thing about that is I got that for free. The best price. I picked that up at the community garage sale. So I did a video a few weeks ago, and it shows me going to, like, I don't know, 50 garage sales at a community garage sale. And this was one of them, but it was free. They were giving away things. A lady had already came in and took most of it, but she didn't know what this was because it was folded up. I knew exactly what it was. So I found this, I picked it up. I was so excited. Now it was heavy. It was a heavy item to ship. It was big and heavy, but sometimes heavy because it folded down. Not so bad. Not so bad. It sold for $78. It was free. So nice. I call these the 4 Bs: baskets, boxes, books, and brass. On the left is the golf ball. That is one of my Limoges boxes. If you don't know what Limoges is, check out my Nashville video, because I go to an estate sale and I pick up 16 Limoges boxes, and they have been my top sellers, no doubt. Top selling category. If I had to do a full like statistical analysis of my Etsy shop, what are my top sellers? My Limoges boxes. So that golf ball sold for $78. And then I sold some baskets. Now I do pick up these like African woven baskets. I don't usually pick up any other baskets. Those are pretty slow sellers for me, but I do pick up these when I find them at a good price. I haven't sold any for a couple of months. So every time I think that, I stop buying them. I'll see them out and I won't buy them because they haven't sold. And then all of a sudden they'll sell. So I had 2 sell last month. So if you see them and they're a good price, they'll sell. And same with this duck basket. Now, so I said I don't pick up baskets, which is true. This duck basket was actually a return. Now I don't take returns. This was sold internationally. And one day it ended up on my doorstep in a box. I opened it up. I'm like, what is this? Well, I did some research. I don't really know what happened. Sometimes that happens, international shipping. And so I reached out to the buyer. I don't know if they didn't want it. I don't know if they never got it. So I unwrapped it. I took pictures and I sold it right away. So it's such a cute basket. It is a Ben Rickert basket. If you ever see these baskets, those I would pick up. Now, I'm not going to pick up Longaberger. They're slow sellers for me. I have 2 more in my shop. They just haven't been selling. I don't know if they sell for you. But a Ben Rickert basket, I definitely would pick up. Now, brass has also slowed a bit for me. Now, I have been holding on to any of my brass candlesticks. I've picked up a few in the past like couple of months, and I've been holding them for my holiday drop. But the snuffer I put up, that sold pretty quickly. I got that in Palm Springs. And these brass candlesticks, I don't like to buy singles. I bought that last little one that was the last one I bought, and I put them as a set, and they sold right after I did that. So always think about pairing things, putting things together, because that has really been successful for me. And it's something on my July plans is to start doing that with my books. Now, this book sold, by itself. It's my only book that sold last month, and I have quite a lot of books in my shop, but I want to start sort of doing little like vignettes of my books and selling those. So we'll see how those go. And then 2 boxes, the box with the green background, I actually bought in Maui. I found 4 things when I was thrifting in Maui, and I took photos while I was there. Now we're on to like ceramic, porcelain, stoneware, kitchen items. I just bundle them all together. I don't pick up a lot of vases. They really have to be special. The black one I picked up on my birthday. It's very sort of an Ikebana vase, sold for $58. The blue one for $60. I picked that up at an estate sale. It's by far, there's no comparison. I go to a lot of estate sales, and there are some incredible ones. But I have to say, the one I went to last summer, and I picked this up, I picked up Rookwood, I picked up Fulper, I picked up the most amazing items. And the worst part about it is I just was getting started, and I knew nothing. If I knew what I know now, then I would have probably had boxes and boxes of stuff. I just didn't know, but I got a lot, and this vase sold for $60. Just some other items here, lots of color as well. That silverware is Yamaka stainless steel. I picked that up at the private, I call it like a private estate sale, because she lets you come in before the estate sale. And so I went twice, and I picked those up for like nothing, absolutely nothing. And I just saw that she's having another one, same like seller, just more stuff as they get it out. And my daughter and I are going later today. I can't wait to shop again, pick up more stuff. All right, now I sold 2 pieces of jewelry. I do not have that much jewelry in my shop, but I picked up this copper cuff a while ago. I discounted it, it sold. This brooch was actually my daughter's. We put a couple of items that we're just not using. That sold for $24. Now here is everything that's sold on Facebook and eBay. The only thing that's sold on eBay is that piece of art. That's that needlepoint green with the yellow on the floor. That's the only thing that's sold on eBay for $34. I did not discount it. That was what it's listed on Etsy. It's what's listed on eBay. Everything else, the other 8 items, sold on Facebook Marketplace. So $78 rope party. I was actually quite surprised that sold on Facebook Marketplace. It was a great piece. I found that at like Salvation Army. If you ever watch some of my videos, you'll see me pick this up, and I exclaim like, oh, like I was so excited to pick it up. Okay, so of the 8 items that sold on Facebook, because I get this question a lot, is all of them except the bell. All of them I shipped. The bell's the only one someone came and picked it up. Everything else I shipped out. And it's like a flat rate shipping by weight. So you can see besides the pottery, everything else is pretty light. It's a pretty light piece. Everything's by weight. I haven't had any issues. And you can see now, last week I talked about cross-listing, and what I'm doing on Facebook is that I am cross-listing all of my items under $20. I'm trying to do some clean out of items I've had for a while that I just cannot get sold on Etsy. So Facebook Marketplace has been providing that for me, and I will eventually start putting everything on Facebook Marketplace. I'm not there yet. I've got a lot more to go. So these are all the items from Facebook and eBay that sold. Because I did that video last week of cross-listing, I have the video of the 2 items that were my top viewed and favorited items, showing you that they had not sold. And now you can see they sold. So what did I do? Well, my first instinct is like, maybe they're too high. And then I thought, no, I've been giving advice. Don't go right to like reducing the price. So I went through the listing, and what's wrong? Now, it's getting viewed and it's getting liked, so it's getting seen. So I didn't want to mess with the title or the tags, because to me, that's where when you have an item that has 0 views or 0 favorites, that's when you kind of need to mess about. Nobody's seeing it. Nobody's finding it. It's useless to be on your Etsy shop if no one's seeing it. Now, anything that is the top viewed items, Don't mess with your tags. Don't mess with your titles. See, people are seeing it. So what's wrong with it? So to me, it's price. To me, that's the only thing I can think of. Well, I thought they were both priced pretty well. Then I thought, let's check the shipping. Shipping is tricky. The questions I get asked the most are about shipping, and I get it. I'm still learning, and now they did all this whole change of the weight between 3 and 5 pounds. So some items where I have as like 2.8, but really they're kind of like maybe just 2 pounds, are now more expensive at 2 pounds than 2. That's a whole nother thing. If you watch my cross listing in the beginning, I do talk about shipping. So if you have questions, view that. If you still have questions, let me know. So shipping. So I thought, okay, let's check the shipping, right? Because I thought they were priced pretty well for both of them. And because they're getting viewed a lot and favored a lot, I don't want to reduce the price. I think they were both in a good price point. So let's take this copper tray. Because I had that shipping lower, I had it at lower tier, and I had it larger. And so I went back and I looked at the measurements, and I'm like, I don't need a box that's like 19 inches. It can fit in a 17-inch, box. I reduced the measurements and the weight for both of these items. So the copper platter and the cat. That is all I did. I didn't touch anything else. I just changed the shipping, and they both sold within days. Take a look at your top favorite items and look to see why they're not selling. Now, when those sold, I was like, whoa, like again, within days of me changing it, I was like, okay, I'm onto something here. So what I thought was like, okay, let's see what's going on with the other ones. Well, I have some heavy items that are viewed, but I think because of the shipping, they are not being sold. Now I have this huge, heavy spice rack that has glass. It's heavy and it's big. I can't reduce the shipping anymore. I just can't, because it's what it is. There's no way to, unless I'm going to take a loss on the shipping, which I'm not ready to do yet. And then the stool was another one. It's pretty heavy and large. I think I reduced it just a little. There's a few items in there that have these kind of big, heavy items that are getting a lot of views. And so I can't really change the shipping. I did look at all of them though to make sure, but I know it's the cost. Now I'm going to be doing a pop-up, my first pop-up. Yay! I'll put it up here so you can see. I'm doing a pop-up August 17th in Temecula at Granny's Attic Antique. If you're in the area, pop by, I will be there. And so if those do not sell by then, I will take them to my pop-up because there will be 0 shipping, and they probably will sell because they're all fabulous. You have something that is getting tons of views and tons of favorites and activities. Price is usually the reason. Now, don't automatically change the price of the product. Make sure the shipping is accurate. That is what I did, and I hope it helps you. So let's talk about marketing. Now, I'm only talking about marketing on Etsy. I don't market on Facebook or eBay or any of the other platforms, and I won't, because I just don't have the sales. I don't get the activity that I do on Etsy. If I'm going to spend any money, I'm only going to spend it on the platform that is giving me the most sales. I recommend you do the same. So if you are getting the most sales on Facebook Marketplace, then that's where you need to advertise, or eBay, whatever your number one platform is, that's where you should be, because that's where you're getting the sales. That's where your customers, your buyers are. That's where you're getting your sales, your reviews, all of your activity is coming from that platform. For me, it's Etsy. We are going to talk about offsite ads, abandoned cart promos, favorited items, and share and save. So these are the 4 items I'm going to be talking about today when it comes to marketing. What I'm doing currently, how it's working, and what my plan is for this selling season. When you first sign up for Etsy, you are automatically enrolled in off-site ads. When that happened, I want to say it was like my second month, because I only sold one thing my first month. I want to say my second month, I saw the charge because I think I made like $26 or something like that. And then the Etsy marketing was like 20 something. And I'm like, I made like $3. When you start an Etsy shop, you are automatically enrolled in off-site ads. And I did not know that. I'm sure it said it somewhere. Now I opted out because I had one sale. I sold one item my first month. And it was like, why am I advertising? I had like maybe 20 items in my shop. I'm spending more than I'm making. It made absolutely no sense. Now I am opted in, but by I don't want to say by force, but it's now mandatory. When you make $10,000 on Etsy within a 365-day period, you are automatically opted into off-site ads. Now, at first I was like, wait, what? But then it's been great and I have no complaints. So I am on board with that. Why? Because I've had some success. So I had one sale. It was actually a book, the book that sold, and I paid $7.67 for the ad. Now I don't have control of that. That is Etsy. They have control of where they're putting my listings, and Google seems to be the place. And I'm okay with it. They know what they're doing. I would know what I'm doing. I don't want control because I wouldn't even know. Maybe I would want control of what items, but I still think their algorithm knows what people are looking for more than I do in that sense. So I had a book that sold, cost me $7.67, and I profited $29.20 after cost of goods sold. Now I did put that in. So I think I bought the book for $2. So I did put that in. The only thing not in here is the transaction fee, the Etsy transaction fee. So not bad, right? $29. It cost me $7.60, and I had another sale. Done. So offsite ads I'm now on board with, and I plan on ramping up my offsite ads for the fall and holidays. Etsy has lots of programs that you can participate in. So here's a few that I have participated in. One is the abandoned cart discount. So on your shop manager, under marketing, under sales and discounts are a bunch of programs that they offer that you can choose to participate or not. So I want to say it was middle of February, I started doing a discount for anybody who has abandoned their cart. So anybody who has put something in their cart and then they did not buy it. And I did decide, I'm just going to try it, see if it works. Now I'm only offering a 5%. Yes, 5%. That's all I'm offering is a 5% discount. And I had 12 sales this past month from the abandoned cart discount. Now, 5% is nothing. I started with 5% just to see if it was gonna work, and it's working, and I'm not gonna up it to 10% because 5% is working. We all feel a little better when there's a little bit of discount. I certainly do when I go shopping at Savers and I get my senior 30% discount, for sure. Even the 10% at Goodwill. I don't even like to shop at Goodwill unless it's on Tuesday where I live. In LA, you have to be 65, but where I live I get 10%. I don't like to shop at Goodwill unless I'm getting a discount. So I did an abandoned cart, 5% discount. Of those 12 sales, to participate in that 5% abandoned cart discount, and I profited $572.54. So was that worth it? Heck yeah, it was. $30 to get almost $600 in sales. That, to me, not even a thought. I will continue doing that. Because that was working so well, I'm going to see if this works for favorited item. Now, not views, and I'm not going to do that, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. This is somebody actually saw a copper plate or tray and thought, oh, this is great, I'm going to favorite it. So I'm offering the same thing to anybody who favorites an item of mine in my shop. Again, 5%, that's all I did, 5%. I had 2 sales. I only just started that. I had a profit of $98 from that. Now, this does not include Etsy transaction fees. This is the 5% fee I had to pay to get those 2 sales. Is it worth it? Yes, it's definitely worth it. If you're not participating in these and you have a lot of inventory, do it. It's so simple, and Etsy takes care of it. So those 2 I like, and I'm going to continue participating in those. And I think I'm going to keep it at the 5%. It's working. It's working just enough for me. Now, they do have where you can offer a discount anybody who views it. I'm not going to do it. I don't see myself ever doing that on Etsy. And the reason why I mentioned this in one of my other videos is I do a lot of research on the items I'm gonna list. We all do, right? We're trying to find the best sales. I'm on eBay a lot. I like to see the solds. I don't want to see what things are listed for. I want to see the sold. So I'm on eBay probably more than anything. And I get a lot of offers from sellers who are giving me a discount on items that I viewed. Well, I'm not a real buyer, right? I'm just doing research. So I don't want that in my shop. I don't want my whole shop to be discounted. The people who are they have it in their cart. They like it so much they put it in their cart. They took the time to like put a heart on that item. To me, they're interested in that item. So that's a buyer I want to capture. People are just viewing. How many listings do you view a day? If you are thrifting or you are listing, I want to say 20, 30, 40. Maybe I'm looking on eBay because I'm looking for prices. I'm thrifting. I'm not going to pick that up. You know, we all do it. And then I'll get 30 offers from sellers on eBay. I don't do that. Everybody has to do what's good for them. And I'm sure I probably would get sales from that. In fact, I know I would. But it's not something I want to participate in. I also participate in a 10% discount to all my past buyers. To me, that is a no-brainer. If you get some like repeat buyers, that is key. You always want to capture and have repeat buyers. My last thing to talk about today, and that is my top 2 sales. Now, I showed you these already in the full scope of the 12 pieces of art that sold, but these are my top 2 selling items. I sold this fabulous sailboat frame. I picked it up for a very good price at an estate sale that was 20% off. I couldn't believe it. Sold for $148. It was gorgeous. The colors, the frame, everything about that painting was amazing. Now, the other item is a Diane Bartz, B-A-R-T-Z. It is a signed piece from the 1960s and 70s. I did a deep dive. I went into Facebook. I found something similar. I learned all about Diane Bartz. This was listed much higher. It is a repeat buyer. She sent me an offer. It sold for $300. So very exciting. Very, very exciting, these top 2. And I love that they're art. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you are enjoying these Monday A Reseller Life videos. They have been so fun and super helpful. I do a lot of research before these videos and I am learning a ton along with you. I hope you are enjoying them as much as I am. I am only doing it for the summer. Coming up, I'm going to be doing a framing video, not just framing, but it's going to be all about art. We're talking sourcing art, listing and pricing art, for sure, shipping art. I had that request, how I ship my art. So all about art. Also going to be doing a video about sourcing. Now, I have no trouble sourcing, but I'm in Southern California. I have, within 2 hours, I have LA, I have Orange County, I have San Diego, I have Palm Springs. I am, in a plethora of places. So I don't have any trouble sourcing, but I know a lot of you live in places where it's much more rural and it's much harder to source. So we're going to talk about sourcing, how to source. I go to a lot of estate sales. So I'll be sharing my tips and tricks on how I, source at estate sales. And then I'll also be doing a video about the holidays. I'm only going to be doing this series through like Labor Day, so we'll talk about, holidays, when to drop, all of that. And then finally, a big Q&A. I've been getting a lot of questions. Thank you so much for all the comments. It's been such a pleasure to read everybody's comments. So thank you so much for commenting. I respond to all the comments. But I'm going to gather all of those questions, and at the end, we'll do a big Q&A. So if you have questions, feel free to ask. I will definitely answer them. But if they are a bigger sort of, thing to tackle, I will tackle that in either another video or for sure in the Q&A. And then for those of you who've had some questions and requests for, things I'm using like cross-listing or, my social media or products, here's a link to all of my everything, all my links, everything, all the products I use. So here's a link here. Hope that helps. And I will be back next Monday. So Thursday are always my thrifting videos. Last week I went to Palm Springs, and this week I had gone to an estate sale. It was appointment only. They never had because it was in this like private estate up in the hills. Oh my gosh, I got so much stuff that they didn't take card. I didn't have enough cash. I had to leave and come back, and then I bought more stuff. It was crazy. And I picked up a designer piece I didn't even know. It's actually, oh, you can see it. It's sitting up there. So I will share that on Thursday, and I will be back next Monday with another A Reseller's Life video. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.